Salutations, brethren, and as you know, Premier League is back. I've seen a lot of other creators doing some, Premier League predictions. I'm going to be doing this as well, but mine is going to be a little bit different because I'm just going to name the teams which I think are going to get relegated, as well as the teams which I think are going to get into my top 7. All those mid-table teams, I mean, no one is over here thinking about, oh my gosh, he predicted my team is going to finish 13th. Those numbers don't really matter. 10th place doesn't really matter, but from 7 onwards, I believe 7th place does get Conference League. From those places onwards, those are the European spots, so I will be talking about those teams. Factors I will consider are, Club World Cup performance, transfers so far. Today is, I think, the 12th of August, as well as preseason performance. So with that being said, let me tell you guys about the teams which I think are definitely getting relegated. These two teams are definitely getting relegated. And those two teams are Sunderland and Brentford. When it comes to Sunderland, they're just a newly promoted team. I find their transfers to be uninspiring. I'm an Arsenal fan, so I do like the fact that Granit Xhaka, I'm going to be seeing him again. But I mean, it is nice that they also got a Dingra, but I look at these transfers and I just look at the team and I just don't think they have it. That's literally my basis for picking Sunderland. I just don't think they got it. Brentford, on the other hand, Brentford basically sold their entire team. They lost their manager, they lost their captain in Christian Norgard, and they lost Bryan Mbeumo, who was their star player. How are you going to replace all those players? The business they've been doing in the transfer window has also been questionable at best. You sign Jordan Henderson and Kelleher? You guys need to find a replacement for Mbeumo. Find a replacement for Mbeumo. I just feel like too many key factors were taken out of Brentford, and like losing Thomas Frank. I think these guys are going to get relegated. I just see it happening. And I hear that Wisa's on the way out. So for Brentford, I definitely think that they're going to get relegated. Now, when it comes to the third team, which I think is going to get relegated, it's between Leeds and Burnley. So my decision for the third team, which I think is going to get relegated, is purely based on the transfers which they made. So when I look at Leeds, I see the two exciting transfers is, Sean Longstaff and Jack Harrison coming back from loan. I find that a little bit uninspiring. But when I look at Burnley, they got Broja, they got that guy from Chelsea. His name is Leslie Ugochukwu. They got Leslie Ugochukwu from Chelsea, and they got Marcus Edwards. And, I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Marcus Edwards, even though I am an Arsenal fan. But anyone who's played I'm really saying FC. Anyone who has played FIFA career mode knows Marcus Edwards. He used to have like crazy potential. You'd sign him and then he would just go crazy in your career mode. So I feel like Burnley have the better transfers, so I think that Burnley are going to stay up just off that basis. But when I look at Leeds, like Jack Harrison coming on loan and Longstaff, it doesn't move me. Hold up. Wait, did you leave a like on this video, my brother? When you do that, you're supporting a young black man and you're telling the algorithm that I'm a pretty chill guy. So please leave a like on the video and you can subscribe to prevent me from starting an OnlyFans. Now let us get to top 7. Top 7, I'm telling you, this 7th spot is going to be a dogfight. As a matter of fact, let me make my first controversial statement. It would be so easy for me to pick the 7 biggest teams in England and just list them as the teams which are going to be, finishing top 7. It would just make sense. You pick your Newcastle, Aston Villa, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, and Spurs. If I picked all 7 of those teams and I put them in my top 7 in whatever order, it would just make sense. But I'm going to be axing 2 of these top 7 teams. And for 7th place, I know it's just going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight between Fulham, Crystal Palace, Brighton. These 3 teams, don't forget these teams. They're going to be fighting for that 7th spot. But I genuinely think 7th place is going to be Nottingham Forest. Don't kill me. Nottingham Forest, they replaced Elanga with Dan Ndoye, so I think that's going to be interesting to see. And they also got Igor Jesus, which is a little bit of an exciting transfer. But I feel like because they've retained majority of their squad... Got a message, what the hell is that? Oh. But I think because Nottingham Forest maintained most of their squad, I think they're going to be okay for the season. The only big player they did lose was Elanga, but it's not the end of the world. It's just one player who they lost, which was just a big loss, you could say. But aside from that, I think Nottingham Forest is still going to have a really, really good season. So that's why I'm putting them at 7th. The 2 big teams which didn't make my top 7 is Spurs and Man United. If you're a Spurs and Man United fan, you can just click out the video. I'm sorry about this. But it's not about the signings the teams made, because yes, Spurs got Thomas Frank. Yes, they got Kudus. Yes, Man United got Cunha and Mbuemo. These are exciting signings. I just don't rate those teams. I just feel like it's supposed to work. Like all the pieces of the puzzle are supposed to be there, but they're just not going to click. Plus, if you're a Spurs or you're a Man United fan, you guys are going literally from 15th, 16th to like 10th. You know, you're not going to make top 7, but you're going to be like 10th in the log. So I think that's a step up. I just don't think Man United or Tottenham, they're going to make it there into the top 7. I feel like there's going to be some sort of drama which breaks out in the club, especially there at Man United. There's always some drama happening at Man United. Sancho is still a Man United player. Garnacho is still a Man United player. Malacia is still a Man United player. So I feel like there's something is just bound to go wrong. Is Antony still a Man United player? And Spurs, I mean, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I just don't rate Spurs. I mean, to put some respect on Spurs, I think they might finish 8th. I can respect Spurs and say they'll finish 8th. Man United, even though they made those big signings, and I think they did get Benjamin Šeško, they're probably going to finish 10th. Maybe 10th is generous. Maybe 15th, Man United. But yeah, with those two teams, maybe because I'm a rival, I don't rate them, but I just have this feeling like it's just not gonna work. They're gonna try, but it's just not gonna work. With that being said, let us move on to 6th place. 6th place, I say, is going to be Newcastle. Newcastle, even though they are on the verge of losing Isak, I think they are likely to maybe maintain Isak. I think Isak and, Eddie Howe, they're gonna patch things up, and, Isak is going to play for another season against his will. But Newcastle, really good team. They got Anthony Elanga. I wish they had more exciting signings, but they maintained the core of their team. So I think it's going to be the same team. They're going to play really well. They're going to have a lot of chemistry, and I think they're just going to do well in general. So that's why I say Newcastle is going to be 6th place. 5th place is going to be Aston Villa. I mean, Aston Villa is just good. Unai Emery is just good. I heard they got this striker from France. His name is Goussard. The signings are really not exciting, but I think they're a good team. I think Unai Emery has that team figured out. He just knows how to make it work. So I feel like the fact that they also maintained a lot of their players, they're going to finish 5th. They're going to be, if not 5th, 6th, but Aston Villa, they're definitely going to be in the top 5, top 6 of Premier League. Aston Villa they're just a really good team. Now my 4th place, you guys are going to think I am crazy for saying this, but I put Liverpool at 4th place. I know it's outrageous. You spend like 90 million euros on Ekitike, 100 million euros on Florian Wirtz, and you sign Frimpong and Kerkez and all of that. But watching that Community Shield and seeing them basically draw against Crystal Palace, ultimately losing the Community Shield, but we all know about the Community Shield curse, so it doesn't really matter. But watching them draw, that 2-2 draw against Crystal Palace, it raised some questions in my mind. I was seeing that there was amazing link-up play between Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike, but the signings did not set the pitch on fire in the manner which I thought they would. So I just have this feeling with Liverpool that like they made a lot of signings, they made a lot of big statement signings, but they're just not gonna gel or work for this first season. And I know it's controversial because it's the easiest thing to predict that Liverpool's going to win the league, because they spent the most money. So if you spend the most money, you should be the most successful, right? Tell that to Manchester United, if you know what I mean. But it's going to take time for these players to click, to understand how they play. And I feel like, especially Liverpool in that match, I believe they played 4 new signings. It was Ekitike, it was Wirtz, it was Kerkez, it was Frimpong. So I feel like there was a lot of changes which were happening in that team, and they just didn't click yet. They will eventually, but for this upcoming season, I see Liverpool finishing 4th. I know, controversial, but I see them finishing 4th. 3rd place is Man City. Now, Man City in January made a hell of a lot of signings. They also made a lot of signings in the summer. Well, it's the summer for, people in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm from South Africa, so it's winter right now. But Man City did make a lot of signings, and it's the same thing with Liverpool. It's going to take time for those guys to click. Your Ait Nouris, your Ryan Cherkis. People are going to be finding themselves, but the thing about Man City is they're going to have so much squad depth, and I feel like that's what's going to give them the edge over everyone else during the season. Another thing about Man City, why I'm not convinced that Man City are going to win the league this season, is because of their Club World Cup performance, getting knocked out by, it was Al Hilal, right? They got knocked out by Al Hilal. The team is very, very good, but there's too many new players. They need to adjust to the system, you know, those types of things. So I feel like they're not going to get there 100%, but they will click. They're going to eventually find their rhythm, you know, towards the end of the season. And then for next season, it's going to be Liverpool and Man City. Next season is going to be Liverpool and Man City going against each other, because those teams, they'll build up their chemistry. They're going to get used to each other. But for this upcoming season, it's still going to be a transitional period, because Man City, they have basically bought a whole new team over the past 2 transfer windows, including this one. So I don't see them clicking 100%, but they will click eventually. That's why I put them at 3rd. Now my second place should genuinely be 1st place. I think Chelsea are going to win the league, but if they don't win the league, they're definitely going to finish 2nd. That Club World Cup performance showed me that Chelsea as a team, they can really, really play. They have the squad depth as well. Chelsea, like as a team, they're just so well put together. The only thing about Chelsea is they have that inconsistent gene. And I'm an Arsenal fan, which makes my number 1 prediction so much worse, because I don't want it to be my number 1 prediction. But yeah, when I watch Chelsea, I think Chelsea, if I basically spoiled my number 1 prediction, but if Chelsea doesn't win the league, I generally think Chelsea are the ones who are going to win the league based off that Club World Cup performance and looking at their squad depth and all these other factors. Because Chelsea, oh my word, Joao Pedro, and I mean, you can replace Joao Pedro with Liam Delap. Like, they've got such good squad depth. And I think Chelsea should win the league this season. But if they don't win the league, they will be finishing 2nd. My 1st place prediction, I wish it wasn't my 1st place prediction, but it's actually Arsenal. And as an Arsenal fan, oh man, for 3 seasons finishing 2nd, like what's going to... Like, honestly speaking, if Arsenal doesn't win the league this season, we're going to be finishing 3rd or something. Pack it up, you know, let's go. But the only reason why I'm saying Arsenal 1st place is because I genuinely believe that the missing piece for Arsenal was Victor Gyökeres. If you look at our defense is world class. I think we've got 2 of the best keepers you can get in the market. So I think squad depth, squad rotation, especially in the defense, it is world class. Midfielders, like for example, if I do name you a midfield 3 of, let's say, Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard, I mean, Zubimendi, oh no, not Zubimendi, but I mean, Rice has a Ballon d'Or nomination, and you know, Zubimendi is a really good midfielder. Odegaard, he used to be there, but now he's still trying to find his feet. But those 3, and I name you another midfield combination where it's like Mikel Merino, Ethan Nwaneri, and Christian Norgard. Like, that's a really decent midfield. I think Arsenal's midfield is really, really good. We do need another left winger, but I mean, Martinelli, Trossard, Madueke playing left wing, that's really decent. Saka right wing, I don't think we have another right wing backup, but you know, a player like Martinelli can play on the right wing, so it's okay. Oh, we have Gabriel Jesus. Everyone forgot about Gabriel Jesus. If he becomes fit, he can also play on the right wing. And striker, you have Havertz and Gyökeres. I think the thing which will make Arsenal win the league is the adaptability, because last season, you saw what happened last season. We lost all our players. We basically had no striker. We had to play Mikel Merino as the striker. And, you know, small things like that, like everything basically falling apart last season, and the fact that we were still able to finish 2nd and make it to the UCL semifinals, knocking out Real Madrid, all of that stuff, I feel like it matters when it comes to challenging for the league. But generally, I feel like the missing piece was the striker, and now that Arsenal does have that striker and Gabriel Jesus coming back from injury, I feel like there's going to be a lot of quality depth up front. I think Arsenal can win the league. As an Arsenal fan, it pains me because you know that quote, you know, being an Arsenal fan is like watching a Netflix series. You have to always wait for next season. But I genuinely believe with the signing of Victor Gyökeres, this season is going to be that season. And Arsenal, I hope you prove me right, but if you prove me wrong, at least win an FA Cup or something. You know what, if Arsenal doesn't win the league and we win a UCL, I'll be happy. I won't even care. But yeah, guys, those are my Premier League predictions, and if I sounded completely delusional, leave a like on this video. But genuinely, guys, I hope you guys leave a like on this video. It really helps for the algorithm, and yeah, thanks for putting up with my yapping. Peace.